Hey Cliff, I got the Mudi 7 and have a question. How do I get the bitrate steady? Do I have to have both SIMs and the eSIM together for it to hold around 6 megabits per second? I have everything else set up the way you showed us. Please let me know whenever you have time and thanks. Okay, so for today's video, I thought we'd take a break from the Mudi 7 review and we'll go through what I do in order to connect my Action 4 to my iPhone via the Mudi 7. So we're looking at my Moblin, especially the top portion. Those are called local overlays. Along the left-hand side, we've got the stream. I'm currently streaming to Belabox Cloud at 1080p, 30 frames per second, using a protocol of SRTLA. The codec is H.265. We've got a constant bitrate, and we're aiming for up to 6 megabits per second, an audio codec of AAC, and a bitrate of 320 kilobits per second. You also see along the left-hand side, we are currently on the A4 RTMP scene, which is the only button I have at the very bottom. Basically, I only use the Action 4 with my phone and my setup. We're currently using the front mic of the iPhone because the Action 4 isn't currently connected. And then we've got some other details regarding the stream and the platforms I'm connected to. So we've got announcements, they are connected, but I'm not currently streaming to Twitch, Kick or YouTube. So they're showing as offline. And then also have OBS remote control. That's offline because we're not streaming yet into OBS. On the right hand side, we've got the ingest. There's no ingest active at the moment. When we have connected the Action 4, you'll be able to see some numbers in there. Below that, we've got the bitrate for Moblin. We're aiming for a bitrate of up to 6 megabits per second out of Moblin to Belabox Cloud. So those are two numbers that you want to keep an eye on. And below that, we've got a bonded connection. This iPhone has 4G cellular. The connection is using 80/20 between cellular and Wi-Fi. So that's what you can see at a glance, and they can be very helpful if you're trying to troubleshoot. Let's go into these settings. Streams. We have 4 streams at the moment: ST for streamable, EC for Belabox Cloud, RS for restream, and PF for port 40. You may want to duplicate your Belabox Cloud and make modifications based on what I'm going to show you. And then you'll be able to compare my one versus your existing one, because I have made some changes. Before we do that, for anyone who's wondering how do you get or load Belabox Cloud into Moblin, there's actually a fairly easy way to do it, but you can do it from your phone, the phone that has Moblin. Now we'll want to click the burger menu from the top right hand side, look for SRT LA relays, scroll to Moblin settings. We've found it. Now you could copy the details from here, but there's a much easier, quicker way of getting your info added automatically to Moblin. In fact, it's right there in that blue button which says add automatically to Moblin. This only works from your phone. I've tried to do this on my desktop, getting the details from there, pasting it into Moblin. Doesn't really work that way. And that's what I've been doing for the longest time. So this is the correct way of doing it, by clicking add automatically to Moblin using your phone. It's not going to work for me because I'm currently streaming with Moblin, but you would click open and it would import those settings into Moblin and you're kind of away. Because it didn't import, we are already streaming with Moblin. In order to have the screen share on screen, we're going to go to streams, and this is where you could make a duplicate. I'm just going to go into this one and go over the details so that you could maybe copy what I've got in my Moblin to your duplicate. You won't need to change the URL, won't make any changes there. For SRTLA, let's have a look. Latency, I've got that at 3000 milliseconds. For adaptive bitrate, let's have a look. The algorithm is set to Belabox. Now we do have fast IRL, slow IRL, custom IRL. I have played around with those, but have gone to Belabox. I'm not sure what the default is, but that's what I've got. And then the bitrate is 250 kilobits per second. For connection priorities, I've given more weight to the cellular, that's at 100%, and reduced the weighting for the Wi-Fi. And the reasoning for this is because I wanted to strengthen the RTMP video from the Action 4. Max bandwidth, we've got follows input, that is enabled. For overhead bandwidth, we've got 25%. Now for big packets, sometimes Android hotspots don't work with big packets. For my S20 Ultra, I made sure that was turned off. But for the Mudi 7, being a travel router, I have that enabled. DNS lookup strategy, that is set to system. And then implementation, I have that set to official. I think the default is Moblin. Official uses the widely supported libsrt version 1.53, and Moblin uses a more energy efficient custom implementation. I'm thinking for wider support, maybe the official one for now. Okay, for video, I have a resolution of 1080p. Lots of other options there for my phone, but I think to be safe, the standard has been for a while, either 720p or 1080p. Below that, frames per second, I've got it set to 30. Low light boost, that is turned off. For codec, we've got H.265 or HEVC. Below there, we've got rate control. You may see this as ABR or average. Now for me, I want to reuse my content on YouTube, other places, so I would prefer a constant bit rate across everything. So I've changed that to CBR. For bit rate, there's lots of options there. Some of these I think I've added, but I generally stick to 6 megabits per second. So if you don't have that in your phone, I recommend adding it as a preset. So here you can create a preset. Yeah, I don't remember which one of these I've added, but I think 6 is a pretty safe number to use. For keyframe interval, we've got that set to auto. B-frame is off. Adaptive resolution, that is also off. Automatically lowers resolution when the available bandwidth is low. Generally gives better image quality at low bit rates, below 750 kilobits per second. OBS typically requires hardware decoding not to crash when enabled. So I think I've had problems with my OBS, can't quite handle this feature. Depending on your computer, this may not be a good option to enable, so I've personally turned it off, but that's something you could look into. Time codes, let's see, that is also off. It mentions there synchronize multiple streams on your server using time codes. Time codes are in UTC and requires H.265, HEVC codec and SRTLA or RIST. For the audio settings, we've got a codec of AAC bitrate. We've got 320 kilobits per second. Now the other areas, most of those we can skip. Let's see, recording, replay, snapshot, preview stream, nope, portrait, nope. Make sure you are logged into your streaming platforms. Twitch, Kick, YouTube. Also got background streaming, that is enabled. Show picture-in-picture mode, that is turned off. And that's because I don't use the internal cameras of my phone. Maybe occasionally, but I primarily use the Action 4. It's great for internal cameras. If you were to swipe out of the Moblin app, they will continue to work with this feature enabled. I've got a very specific use case. I use the Kick app or the Twitch app in order to preview my stream, hear the audio, check the video, see what things look like for viewers. Usually with an external camera, you may want to turn that one off. Okay, so these other settings aren't really related to what we're wanting to do, so I'm trying to stick to what's important for this video. That should be everything for the Belabox cloud stream. Okay, I've got the Mudi 7 here. I'm going to power it on. I'm going to press and hold the power button of the Mudi 7 for about 3 seconds. That's going to boot up. It usually takes about a minute, which I've covered in my unboxing video. The yes, Mudi is all ready to go. I'll pop this down. Next step will be to connect the iPhone to the Mudi 7. Give it a moment. We're now connected. We'll swipe out of the Wi-Fi settings. I'm just going to check the Mudi 7, make sure that we're not in repeater mode, so they can mess with things. We're okay on the Mudi 7. With the setup, we want to make sure the Mudi 7 is the mobile hotspot for everything. Now currently, the iPhone is connected to the Mudi 7. Just in case you can't see the same things that I can see inside of Moblin, make sure Show All Settings is enabled. Okay, next we are going to find ingests. Now we are going to create a new ingest, even though I have a few in here that I could use already. So let's try turning it off. We're going to create a new one in here. We're going to call this one A for M for Mudi. I have covered this in another video, but I'm going to go through everything just in case there's a few things that I didn't quite cover in that earlier video. We've got the stream key, we're going to leave that. Latency URLs, I'm going to turn RTMP server back on. We'll go back again. I'm going to go into DJI devices, create a new one, my device, give it a new name. Okay, select device, power on the Action 4. We're going to wait for the iPhone to connect to the Action 4 via Bluetooth. It has found it, so yes, we are good. Resolution, the bitrate, frame rate, all those things which can be handled by Bluetooth. It's going to pass that info to the Action 4 and tell the Action 4 what mobile hotspot to use for the actual video being sent by RTMP. Now we've already got the SSID of the Mudi 7 here, just need to enter a password. Now on the Mudi 7, to make sure we're connecting to the 5 GHz band, I can hold this up with my iPhone in this other hand, type in the password, go yep, cool, that's good. So that's been sorted. And then let's see, we've got our type, which is server. The stream is currently set to A4. Want to change that to A4M. So that's the new one that I created. For URL, it's given us a whole bunch of them. So usually I've found it's either the first or second one. The new option is we'll automatically select the IP address for you, which is very, very nice. So I would select the auto option when that's available in your version of Moblin. Should be soon because the updates roll out pretty quickly. For resolution, 1080p, 720 or 480p. For bitrate, we've got all these options. 6 megabits per second for the bitrate. Image stabilization, that is off. I'm going to choose my favorite one, which is horizon balancing, and then you can auto restart live stream when broken. Enable that. Just need to start live stream. Connecting to DJI device. Now it says it's preparing to stream. The action 4, just having a look, and it is indeed saying that we are live. Now that's a good sign for the auto feature. Sometimes, depending on whichever IP address you selected, it might say preparing to live stream and never change from that, whereas it has nailed it for us with that auto feature. Okay, so you may be wondering, why don't we have any video from the action 4? It's because this A4 scene, it's set up for the other ingest. What you'd normally do is create a new scene. We've got the current scene that's in there. We'll create a new one. We're going to call this scene A4M. So everything is A4M. Click OK. The video source is set to screen capture. We want to find A4M RTMP ingest from the list. Rotation 0, override video stabilization off, full frame no, mic override yes, and it has selected the A4M RTMP ingest as our mic. Widgets, we won't add any widgets for now. Go back and you'll see there that we have a new scene, A4M. So we'll select that scene. Fingers crossed we should have the video from the action 4. Okay, so looking at the details, we appear to be good. The ingest is about 6.5 megabits per second. And then below that, it says A4M with battery of 66%. So we would need to do a hot swap of the battery at some point, but at the moment we're okay for the action 4. Below that, we've got the stream to Belabox cloud, which is showing 6 megabits per second. So as long as those two numbers, the ingest, which kind of looks like, what does that look like? A burger stack of plates, holding steady at 6.6 something megabits per second. As soon as that drops, that's when you'll notice glitching from the action camera. But the one below that, that is the stream to Belabox cloud. If that is playing up, could be the connection to Belabox cloud. Our numbers are looking pretty good on both. So for the RTMP, that's holding at 6.5, 6.4 megabits. So that looks okay. The stream to Belabox cloud, that's bonded, cellular and the Wi-Fi. That one also looks good. I did see it drop to 4, 5 for a brief moment there. But from this, what I'm looking at, looks like we're okay for both ingest and the stream. So just to go back to that earlier question, we've got a 5G SIM in the iPhone 11. We've got a 5G SIM in the Mudi 7, cellular and Wi-Fi through the Mudi 7. Everything is connected to the Mudi 7. iPhone's connected to the Mudi 7. Action cameras connected to the Mudi 7. Okay, so let's try and go over a couple of troubleshooting steps. Firstly, in the action 4, the Wi-Fi frequency is very important. Make sure that is set to 5.8 gigahertz. Also, when it comes to the Mudi 7, I think 2.4 gigahertz is enabled. I've actually turned that one off. When your iPhone is connected to the Mudi 7 and also the settings inside DJI devices, they're all using the faster Wi-Fi band. Late night editing Cliff here. I just remembered one more thing. To the very bottom, make sure that show all settings is enabled as I mentioned earlier. Basically, export your settings, reset at the very bottom, and then re-import the settings. So currently it doesn't look like I can do that, but you would select import from file. Remember, make sure that you have exported your settings. Sometimes when they roll out an update, it can affect your version of Moblin, whatever settings you've got in there. I think I read it somewhere on the Moblin Discord that is what you might have to do. I tried it and then my connection appeared to be a lot better. If you have any questions, let me know in the comments. If you found this video helpful, please like and subscribe. That would be appreciated. Otherwise, I will see you in the next video.